you see. And
So was that something that happened over time? That process of, it's almost like a realignment, isn't it, in the mind somehow?
It is indeed. It is. It is.
So was that something that, was there a significant time it happened and you really noticed it, or was it a gradual process?
Well, in that context, I must, if I may, point at something that which is classic of the mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is the what is first and what is later. Um, um, when we talk and when we listen and we talk from a state in mind that divide things. You see, in opposites, in polarity, and that happens also when we want to find out when things happened, because we imagine that one has changed, yeah, because of something that happened. So there is a before and after of oneself. I believe most that process is ongoing simultaneously. You see, that's what I see. It's ongoing simultaneously.
Yes. You know, I understand
Yes.
that. Yeah.
So, so I could say yes and no. I could say yes, it happened at once, and I could try to remember when, or I could say no, it's happening gradual. You see, and but I know I don't. I'm not.
But there was presumably a process of integration
That's
of that
right.
in a practical way in
That's
your
right.
life.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Yes, it is. It is. And there is a process of integration. The way you think about yourself, yes, um, permeates, if you like, the way you think about the world and everything else. If you're very extreme about yourself, you're very extreme about everything else. The moment you stop thinking in extreme ways about yourself, you stop thinking in extreme ways about the world. And that's my experience.
Mm.
And so, when we come to a master, or when we come to satsang, what is really happening? There is nothing special in me, or not that I'm staying in a stage that someone else is not. We're all in the same stage. And really, what happens is that I'm familiar, yes, or I have a way. My mind is more familiar with the truth, so I can help you to see it in your mind, and I can help you to see, and I can help you to break through your own mind. Because your mind is, I'm saying an example, stuck with an extreme. So the same way we could go and see an expert in any particular field of life, because their mind kind of, when you start learning something, you worry a lot about the process, but then when you have more experience, you know how many things you don't need to worry about the process, because you have experience.
You have a wider picture.
Exactly. You have a wider picture. And that's what happens, you see.
Mm.
That's what happens. Eventually we become, there is a new form of thinking in which you're just more open, more wide, and you are more sharp, if you like. It's as if you become more conscious of those extreme ways of seeing that really was stealing the show before, if you like, and you don't want the show to be stolen anymore.
But do you, in your life, do you still find you lose it sometimes, or are you maintaining, if you like, what I would call the bigger picture, the deeper foundation? Is there times where you get caught in old personality patterns still?
Well, that's a terminology that I hear a lot. That get caught in patterns.
It's a question that we have, yeah.
Exactly.
People have,
So
yeah.
if you're meaning if I feel sad, if I feel angry, if I feel
I mean, I know for myself, let's
Yes.
personalise it here.
Yes.
There'd be quite long periods where I feel, in my terms, a bigger picture,
Yes.
and somewhere I don't get caught. And then there's something like goes wrong with the computer, I'm in a traffic jam, and I go into an old automatic reaction.
Yes.
And afterwards I can see I was in a reaction,
Yes.
but during the time, even though there might be a degree of awareness of what's happening, I'm still caught in the energy, an old energy. And that's what I'm asking about yourself, whether you're fairly clean of that. I'm interested.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Because I asked for the detail because I like to explore that, if I might, together. Because
Yes, absolutely.
It's happening that it happens when it's less suspected. Really, it happens when you come out.
Yes, it catches you. That's
Exactly.
Right.
It happens that you come out of being caught up in the computer conflict. And then there is another thing coming up, which is I lost the big picture, therefore I'm being caught up.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So if it's that what you're asking me, no, that's not happening in me.
Okay.
But I get very concerned about computers.
We have something in common there.
Yes. You understand? So
when I'm not very happy with my computer, I should say, I am being very concerned about my computer.
Exactly. You know, the process comes, the process of disapproval, if you like, the judgment, comes up when you start thinking that we should have the big picture all the time. For example, anything that is impermanent, we have the intention that becomes permanent. Any state is an aspect of that individual who is based on ideals, and we should be able to catch him up. We should be able to know him so well that we don't believe in it anymore.
Yeah, but you see, I still think we're talking about two different things here. I think we're talking about the event of being caught up in an old pattern in the mind, and then we're talking about any judgment of being caught up afterwards. And I see them as separate, and I know for myself I don't particularly judge myself afterwards. It happens. Well, it happens. But I can see the pattern being perpetuated by me being caught up.
Yeah, but there is a judgment when you say I've been caught up.
Well, there is and there isn't. I understand what you're saying, but there's also, let's say, there's desire is not the best word, but there's a passion, let's say, of wanting to go beyond that and seeing the futility of it and seeing the repetition of a program in the mind.
Okay, I understand.
So there's and to use your word here, there's the wanting of the freedom from that.
Exactly. Okay. I understand. No, that doesn't happen in me.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in me because I found the freedom in that.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean beyond it. Doesn't mean devoid it. And that's very important, you see. It doesn't mean devoid the pattern. It doesn't mean devoid me being, even thinking that I was caught up, which is not it doesn't happen to me. But maybe because I stopped entertaining those thoughts for a while, and then I don't buy the story of being caught into my worries or my sadness or my jealousy or my fear.
So that they may be floating by those thoughts, but you don't engage.
They don't float by anywhere.
They don't
really.
even float by.
No, because the realization probably it's as if you're done with something. You're done with the process of identity.